signs you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Today is November 17, 2022. It is 2:02 a.m. I just finished edit one of 3 videos that I did yesterday, which is the shorter one. I just finished edited, and the second one I need to start editing it. The first one I finished it. So I have a lot of tweets that I came across. I need to at least record them. When I have the time, I'll edit them, because Thanksgiving is coming up and we're gonna go away, and I need to at least do as much as I can to upload them, and for you guys to have at least one video a day for you to watch. All right, so with that being said, let's go on Twitter. So on Twitter, what we're gonna discuss, there were some tweets that I was coming across after Meghan's podcast regarding activism. So some of the conversation that was going on Twitter were that for some reason the royals are activists. Okay, so that was the thing that was going on, and I even create a thread. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't even put my thread in it, but I posted it on my community board, but I don't have it on this video. I didn't bookmark it. So I'm gonna start with someone who posted the meaning of activists, and then we'll go on from there. I might have 2 videos or possibly 3, because I have a lot to share. I didn't count them because I just added a couple of them, and there's some stuff regarding Welsh. There's a video I came across, and they're talking about William not speaking Welsh and stuff like that. So there's possibility I might have 3 videos. The one with the activism might take 2 videos, and the other one regarding Welsh might be one by itself. Okay, so let's get started. Can people tell me which royal woman ever actively did something to bring about special and political change aside from Diana and Meghan? Because all those Windsor girls did was try to help the monarchy to still keep their subject. Which one helped or spoke up for freedom fighters? All right, there's the thinking face. And this is the meaning of activist. Activist, someone who works hard during practical things to achieve social or political change. Okay, all right, so now here are the comments. Oh, I thought there would be a lot of comments. Not much. Okay. The Windsor women confuse self-promotion with actual putting people's interests first for the betterment of those people. Those empty-handed 45-minute appearances once in 3 to 4 years don't change those people's lives and circumstances, not without any active interventions. What is it? When William and Kate went to some sort of a charity for Ukraine, he literally told you he really cares about you guys. I'm paraphrasing, but I'll put the clip. All right. So when one of the workers, I'm assuming, or not, how do you call it, volunteer, says something about financial or something like that, so he's like, oh, he could only give a smile. That shows he cares or something like that.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's that's more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So, you know.
They're not about helping people to better themselves. What the hell a smile can do? There's a lot of people who smile at you, and at the same time they're hurting you because they enjoy the pain of hurting you. So smile doesn't do shit. People need financial help or bring things that you know they will need, so that way they don't have to ask money to buy it. Alright, so let me read the last comment before I go to the next one. Okay, the meaning of activism for royal women: smile and wave. There it is. Yep. William said it. Smile, and that shows he cares. Next tweet. So now another thing that I saw coming out, but I'm not too familiar of what's going on. It seems like there's some women who's coming out in terms of supporting when it comes to activism, in terms of helping what's her name, Amber Heard. I did follow the ordeal, so anyone who's in supportive of her, I'm out, because I know, well, based on what was presented in court and things that happen in the UK court system, I have a basic idea of what's going on. So let's just keep that in mind. All right. And you could look at some of my videos. Some not too much in this channel. On my other channel, I did put a couple things. If any of those trolls, haters, critics, criticize Meg for not being on the Amber Heard feminist wagon, I'll roast them to oblivion, cause no one stood up for Meghan except her loving hubby, few friends, 72 UK member of parliament, and the World Squad. Everyone else was zipped during her abuse, so spare me that nonsense. Okay, so she must have seen something someplace else to tweet that, but I have not come across that. The only reason I'm putting this, 2 things. They're mentioning Meghan, and then they're talking about Amber Heard. And I have a very good idea about Amber Heard's position of what she done. You know what? I'll look for, let me give myself some work. I'll look some of her video audios, how she's instigating Johnny Depp. Okay?
The worst thing is, it's hurting.
It becomes court.
Do you want to go to court, Amber? Seriously? Do you want to go to court with this? I'm offering you right now an opportunity for us to make this finish in peace. Peaceful, man. We walk away. You go do what you gotta do. I'll go do what I gotta do. I've been through the hurt. You've been through the hurt. I love you more than anything in life. I do not want to go into a court with you. I do not want to tarnish your name. I don't want to tarnish. I don't want enough. I want this to be done peacefully between us. And if you don't like the way that mediation is going, take me back to court, kid. Because I can't. This is the last chance, Amber. This is it. Once they file those papers, we don't turn around, man.
I had to respond.
You cannot think that it's just my side. You're killing me. Your people are trying to kill me. You've turned me into a... My boy has to go to school. My boy goes to school and has kids go, so your dad's a wife beater? You don't think about that, Amber.
You don't think us, also my family, and all the death threats that me and every single person in my immediate circle of friends and family is getting also matters? And you don't think I...
Death threats?
You people put this out. You didn't want this out. Why security come on the record and lie? Then why go? That's a proactive measure. Then why did you didn't want to try to get the file for divorce period at all? Second, why did she have to go and get it to TMZ? Why did she have to go and get it to TMZ?
Is that the TMZ guy?
I was the go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
Approximately how many paparazzis were you in charge of?
At the time, it was about 20 in LA, a handful, maybe 3 in New York, and then 1 in DC.
And what were your responsibilities specifically as to the paparazzi?
It would be to dispatch paparazzi to various locations based on tips or just direction dictated by having a list of sort of hotspots where celebrities would be.
And how were those tips received?
They were received either through tips that we received through our tip line or directly through news producers in the office.
And were tips frequently received directly from sources?
Very often the case, yeah.
And who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities.
Lawyers?
And lawyers, definitely.
Why did she have to go and get it to TMZ?
How are tips verified?
Tips are verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line, we have to verify who sent it, that the source is truthful, and so they have to add their contact information, which is a field in that on that website for like name, phone number, things like that.
And how long did that process typically take?
If we receive a tip through the tip line, it could take a while because that would need to be, if it was a tip, we would need to verify it. If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would have the legal ability to air it and distribute it.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Heard?
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and foundation. What were they supposed to do? Right. She's asking for, I don't think there's a foundation.
I'll overrule the objection at this point. I'll see.
Go ahead, Mr. Tremaine.
Can you state the question again?
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Why did she have to go and get it to TMZ?
Mr. Tremaine, go ahead.
No, they did not.
And why not?
Because it was a TMZ exclusive.
And what does that mean?
It means the TMZ owns the copyright to it. So it can't be distributed by any other media source without backlinking to TMZ, and they wouldn't be able to upload that media without getting a copyright strike.
Have you seen the kitchen cabinet video that was played in this trial?
I have, yes.
How does that video that was played in this trial compare to the one you received on August 12, 2016?
When I had clicked the direct link that we received and watched the video in its entirety, it was much shorter than the video we had received, than the video that's been played in this trial. There was a bit at the beginning that was played here in which Ms. Heard is seemingly sort of setting up the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly snickering and looks at the camera. That part was not present in what we received.
Did TMZ edit the video?
No, not even a little. When we receive something and it's edited, there's a clear indicator because there's sort of a journalistic practice that uses when there's an edit, you do what's called like a white flash transition, which covers the entire screen with white to very clearly indicate to everybody there was an edit here for time or whatever, just to make it a little more compelling. But in this case, it was not edited, as I was staring at the machine that edited it and present for the entirety of receipt to publishing.
When was the next time you worked on an assignment related to Amber Heard?
It was, well, there was the time where we went to the airport. And then the day after that, because she had flown in for the deposition, because I think the first time didn't work out. So she was arriving again for the deposition in that same parking lot adjacent to a law office.
And what's that, August 13th, 2016?
That was August 13th, yeah.
And what was your assignment on August 13th, 2016?
To dispatch camera people to that parking lot at a specific time in order to film Amber Heard arriving for the deposition.
Wow. How did you know that tip was legitimate?
It came from a news producer.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Why, if you wanted it private, is TMZ being fed information literally by Laura Walker and Marty Singer every step of the way? My arrest record? What's next in the media? The rumors that I was a stripper? Of course I can expect that next.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I've known every step of the way, every single step of the way, everything you give them. You don't think
I'd give them. That's it. I'd give them. I'll see you in court. No, I'll see you in court. I will see you in court. I never said that. I never told anyone that. You trusted me with that, and I've never told anyone that. And you know what, Amber? This is me. This is me saying, I tried. And thank you, and I will see you in court. You don't want to make nice? I'm trying. But you know what? I loved you for so many years, but you know what? You didn't exist. You don't exist. You're not there. You were a made-up thing in my head. And I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Stop.
Can't believe it.
There's no need to be cruel on top of it.
You've been nothing but cruel, and I'm going to court with you.
I'm sitting here defending myself, and it makes you so angry.
You have not let up. You keep blaming. No, what you just said. What you just said to me. You're defending yourself against me about something I didn't do, and I'm not going to fight with you because I know this lasts forever.
You did it. I said I could accept it next. I am defending myself.
Excuse me, I'll be right.
I'm defending myself.
Excuse me.
I'm defending myself to you on the phone right now, and you're attacking me.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
So you make your judgment from that? And there's plenty. Just go on crime and something, one of those network. Look at the trial. Everything was televised, and a lot of things came out, even when she was testifying and stuff like that. So go watch it. Don't just take my word for it. All right. The Rangers have tried a few times to associate the two. I didn't pay much attention to that Johnny Depp circus, but I'm glad there's no proof they ever met. 100%. Oh, please. Meghan is very smart. Meghan is very smart, and I know she read a lot, and I'm sure she have a basic idea of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. Okay? So this is somewhat okay. I'm still paying a little bit of attention of what's going on with Johnny Depp, but I don't share them with you. Okay? My main thing was that he get the justice that he deserves, and I'm happy with that. But I do pay a little attention here and there. Rihanna just recently asked Johnny Depp as a form of solidarity of two people who have been at the other side of abusive relationship. All right? You guys should know about Rihanna's situation. I don't want to bring any other name besides that. If you don't know who did it, it's another singer. All right, you could do that research yourself, because I don't want to go too deep in that. And Johnny Depp appeared in one, I think it was, what was that? Is it Sauvage or one of Rihanna's thing? And she invited him, and he accepted and joined him. Okay, as a solidarity of two people who have been abused. How do you call it? Domestic abuse. Okay, so I know about that, but I didn't really talk too much about it on my channel until now. All right, so there's things that's going on I'm not sharing. There are other things that's happening with that trying to, how will I say that? Maybe con the system. All right. It's too much. I really okay. With that being said, I'm just gonna stop because there's a lot going on. I do not want to focus too much on that. So anyone who's trying to back I'm off limit here, because I'm not gonna support that person, because there's too much that she did that's really unethical. Okay, should activist Kate and William be making a statement? Who is calling Meghan's name? They better leave her alone. Okay, just know I watched that entire trial. Yep, me too. Was caught lying over and over. There's someone who knows what's going on. No medical records. Thank you. All right, Meghan is awesome. Heard is a disgrace. There it is. These are people who knows. All right, next tweet, and it's also making reference to Amber Heard. All right, so good. The last two comment pretty much sums up my my viewpoint of her. All right, next tweet. I can never take any group of white women seriously when they have been the glue to black women oppression. Okay, let me read that comment and then go into that. Okay, the whole situation looked to me like they were abusive to each other, them fighting it out for PR, and the media gets bathing for them. For me, you know what? Johnny Depp did not want to go to court. Johnny Depp wanted these things to go quiet.
Do you want to go to court, Amber? Seriously? Do you want to go to court with this? I'm offering you right now an opportunity for us to make this finish in peace. Peaceful, man. We walk away. You go do what you gotta do. I'll go do what I gotta do.
But the reason we have so much audio of their relationship, guess who recorded them? His wife, his ex-wife recorded almost everything. Every audios you heard of that is the ex-wife. And there's part where Johnny Depp find out that someone on his team was stealing money from him. He was pissed, which is obviously, all right, banging on some cabinet doors. How did we know? Who recorded it? Okay, the one person who was in the room with him. That's his ex-wife. And then when he found out that she was recording him, you know, he took the phone. Something happened, and then the thing went blank. And then she was trying to court him She instigates a lot to get him upset. Each time she tried to instigate him, when he knows he's about at the brink of doing something stupid, you know what he does? He get out of the place. All right, call his security, come and get me. Let's go to another place. Even during the trial, his sister testified when she is, because the sister worked for him. All right, when they're setting up hotel reservation, and if both of them are gonna go together, guess what? The sister arranged 2 separate rooms. If things get out of control when they are together, there's another room for him to go. All right, because they know the pattern of her. So before anybody speak, go watch the trial, and then evidence that they put on in court, and documents, court documents, and videos and audios of stuff. And even there's a video of the UK trial where they were asking her some question regarding the wife beaters case. All right, and she said something she didn't want to get out regarding alerting TMZ, and this is why that other TMZ guy had to come and testify to tell the jurors, the court, how TMZ get their videos, because you know, things that is submitted to them. All right, so all of this were disclosed. So I know a little bit about that. I'm not gonna read that document because that article. It's from NBCnews.com. National feminist organization break their silence on Amber Heard in an open letter. The letter denounced the rising misuse of defamation lawsuit to silence people who report domestic and sexual abuse. She's not the face for, how do you call this, for domestic abuse or domestic violence. She should not be the face. I don't know what this thing says. I'm not gonna read it. I'm only here to share the tweet. You guys could look for it online. All right, new Gloria Steinem. This is why I think I'm sharing that, because of Gloria Steinem, because she's a friend of Meghan. All right, Gloria Steinem. Now Women's March. Know your, what is that? 9 National Women's Law Center and 140 organizations and experts in the field of women's rights, domestic violence, and sexual assault have signed an open letter in support of Amber Heard. There's a video that I did. Go on my other channel. I think I have it there, where NBC is not a very, I don't know. There's something about NBC that's not right. And I think I raised a question about NBC as well. Before, regarding the way they report certain things, and I think I made the connection. That's where Trump did his show. What's the show? I forgot the name of the show. It was a very popular show. The show that Trump had on TV. All right, that's the theme song is "Money, Money, Money," something like that. All right, so I have some question, my suspicion, okay, regarding NBC, and I didn't read the letter that they're making reference to, but the thing I'm afraid of is that because Amber Heard is not getting much support from regular people, because that's what they're trying to get, in my humble opinion. So Gloria Steinem is someone who did the work, did the fight when she didn't have to, because she's a white woman. She could easily sit back and relax, enjoy the ride. Okay, but she did the work. All right, the footstep. She established herself as a activist and feminist and all of that. So I'm afraid they're using her to back up AH. So before people think that they're gonna jump on board to back her up because of Gloria Steinem co-signed that letter, people need to think and look back at everything that led to the lawsuit. All right, so I think they're using her, I guess, to get sympathy or to get people on their side. That's my humble opinion. All right. All right, let's read some of the comments. The letter, authored by a group of Heard's anonymous grassroots supporters, speaks out against, quote, the rising misuse of defamation suits to threaten and silence survivors. Okay. When will the organization do the same for Meghan Markle, whom the media and troll abuse her worse than Amber. The thing that I've heard and read about her capturing people, and some, prominent people, people with position to make decision on certain things, how she got them on certain, recordings. So this is why they're doing all of this for her. Okay, or is it because Meghan is woman of color? I don't want to show this, so YouTube don't do anything to the video. Literally, no one is saying men can be abused, just that JD wasn't. Okay, people lose sight of the fact that the trial was Johnny's suing Heard for defamation for simply saying she was representing domestic abuse, and he didn't like that. Not really. Because she mentioned him in a way without mentioning, putting his name on it, because he said something, I forgot how that thing went, where she wrote that op-ed and then saying that she is a survivor. There was a time frame that she put after 2 years or something like that. She's a survivor of domestic violence or something like that. And there's some other keywords, okay? I'm just paraphrasing on top of my head right now. There's some keywords that were put to make reference to Johnny Depp without mentioning Johnny Depp, okay? And even the ACLU testify that they had put his name, but her lawyers told ACLU to remove his name because after their divorce, they were not supposed to talk about whatever happened between them. But she wrote the op-ed and make reference of him and that. And then Johnny Depp have proved in court, okay, that yes, that was defamation kind of thing. And Amber Heard did not prove herself how she was being abused by Johnny Depp. A lot of stuff. They even bring pictures, okay, how she doctored those pictures to Photoshop. All right, so there's a lot of things. I mean, you will have to have a lot of money to defend yourself in that kind of a suit. But Johnny Depp did. He bought the best expert of expert. And this is why she had so much audios of him. Because I feel like, in my humble opinion, she was trying to frame him. But the most important thing that she was trying to get Johnny Depp, he can't get it. Even in all of the videos, how calm Johnny Depp is, even when she's trying to instigate him, he will call his bodyguard to come and take her, bring her someplace else, to another place that he has. So go follow the trial. Everything is on YouTube. All right, and I sort of when I had time, I sort of did little reviews here and there. Go follow that trial. Okay, everything is on YouTube, and this is why Johnny Depp wanted it to be televised, because the kind of lies that were being put out there on social media about him, and mainstream media run with it. Okay, defame him. He lost a lot of job and gigs and all of that. The only company that supported Johnny Depp throughout his ordeal was Sauvage, the perfume. Okay, so I know a little bit about that. So anything that these feminist people are saying is really making it really, really bad for any woman who's actually been abused. Okay, with that being said, I'm moving on. Okay, so I saw this going on. I don't know the full detail. I guess if I read this article, I will know what this thing is saying. But knowing what I know through the trial and evidence that was submitted, okay, and videos, audios, all sort of stuff, and then herself speaking in court, admitting that, why she did some of the things that she did. So with that being said, I'm done with this. Now let's move on to the next tweet. Oh my God, 22 minutes. All right, now I'm on to Archetype. Okay, there's Omid. A powerful conversation with actress Sag dash. Okay, I keep on having a hard time. What do you call this? Pronouncing her name, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce her name. Okay, it's Shove Adashulu. Okay, Adashulu. Okay, about the protest for social freedom and change in Iran on Archetypes. This episode also with Jamala Jamal sees Meghan focus on how women's activism is often diminished, mocked, and ignored. Alright, so that last tweet that it crossed my mind. They're trying to coattail with Meghan's podcast, with Activism, all this stuff that I'll be showing. You know, the tweet I'll be sharing with you on this video. All right, so this is 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Let's see if I have something to say in between.
The truth of the matter is that it wasn't just the death of a 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in the hands of the morality police, but it's 43 years of dictatorship, religious tyranny, misogyny, child abuse, embezzlement from the Iranian people's wealth.
I'm really struck by the similarity in these stories because of how old you were when you protested in '79 and how old these women are who are protesting today.
And by the way, before the midterm election 2022, I did raise this up in one of my videos, and I made it in a comparison with what happened in Egypt. And then the difference with what happened, there's some similarities and differences. One was that the one that happened in, I believe, 2010 or a little bit before 2010, the merchant who was being harassed by one of authorities, okay, set himself on fire. Okay, and that raised a lot of protests. People were angry. You had, all sort of issues popped up, and you have the president being arrested for all sort of things. Go follow it. I spoke about it a little bit before the 2022 midterm election, where I said we should not try to make the same mistake that we did in 2010 with the 22 election, and some of the issues that I brought that were going on around the 2010 and 22 election was the protests in Iran, and compare it with what happened in Tunisia. So with what happened in Tunisia is that young lady who was arrested, some police thing, which you just heard on the podcast, all right, and then she died. People were upset about it. Many other issues raised up. It's still going on. Okay, the protest is still going on, and I think the video that I need to edit, the second video on yesterday's podcast, I discussed some of this stuff. Right? So a lot of similarities, and I was giving the warning we should try not to make the same mistake in 2010. And then in 2010, what I said in 2010 is that the people, the establishment, wherever they are around the globe, okay, in the US, in the UK, you name it, all right, they were paying attention, okay, to subdue the kind of change that was happening, especially when President Obama was the first black president that happened in the US, so which made a lot of people happy around the world. So they suppressed that. So that's some of the things that I raised. But let's continue.
Because when you look back at the median age, or look at it now, the median age of some of these protesters in Iran, to my understanding, it's 15 years old.
Teenagers.
Some of these girls are so young and yet so fearless, so brave, so clear on what they want to speak up about. What does that bring up?
And this is one of the things that I've always said. In order for change to happen, it's usually the young people. All right, they haven't really experienced a lot of things. When they see things is being holding them back, they don't want to fight for. The same thing that happened with a lot of social medias that's become public. All right, they attract the young people. The young people will make those particular social media platforms popular, like TikTok, YouTube. Okay, I spoke about that. In order for change to happen, you have to attract the young people. So it's almost the same thing here. So you have young people protesting because some of the things that they're going through is just enough is enough. I don't share too much of what happened in Iran on my channel, but the other day I think I posted some screenshot on my other channel on my community board. So I really recommend you to subscribe to both channels, because sometimes there are things that I don't want to put over here that's a bit too political. I'll put it on my other channel. All right, so let's continue.
For you, and what would you say you feel and what you're witnessing now versus what you experienced then? How do you think they're different, and how do you think they feel the same?
I would say the only difference is the fact is that this generation is the internet generation. This generation is not only very well educated, they speak quite good English. They learned it through the internet. This generation has witnessed everything that my generation had never witnessed.
That's the thing
before.
with the internet.
My generation was politically naive. We had
the old people use the internet for negativity. Many young people use it for education. I've spoke about this before on some old podcasts. I don't know which one, because I say a lot of things on many different podcasts. Okay, depending on how you see the internet, it could be a good thing. But when you look at old people, when the way that they use the internet is to influence the mind in a negative way. But when young people, doing their thing, well, to some extent, give and take. Okay, I'm not talking about all of them, because there's bullying that happen and all of that. But a lot of young people tend to use it for a positive way. All right, a lot of young people, not all. Okay, keep in mind, not all, but they tend to use it for a positive way to better themselves. All right, there's some of them who use it to make money, rather, make videos or to earn some money, and you name it. All right, so that's one thing that crossed my mind.
no ideas of political prisoners, torture chambers, but this generation have seen it all, either on the internet or television or on the streets of Iran. And not only that, but also they know that the whole world is watching. My generation had no idea of how the world is going to react to what we're...
And there's another thing as well, which I spoke before on my channel, is where our generation needs to do more, because some people, let's say my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation, and so forth, so on, after certain point, they were not keeping up with the fighting. Okay? And I spoke about liquor stores in some communities, the AIDS pandemic to subdue black and brown people, all of that. I spoke about this in some shape or form, and which gave the other side, the people who's suppressing, certain group, to continue with their progress. All right, while some other communities, brown and black, were, every corners there's drugs, there's liquor stores, all sort of things, and to keep them, preoccupied with their own mental issues. All right, let's continue.
Watching. My generation had no idea of how the world is going to react to what we were trying to do for Iran, to bring back a democracy to Iran. Therefore, we felt alone, we felt hopeless. If my generation had the world's support, lovingly looking at what is going on in Iran and trying to help out as much as possible, I would have not left Baharistan Square. I would have had take some painkillers and would go back to the square.
Wow.
Until we will be able to bring back democracy to Iran.
All right. By now, you guys should have listened to it, because she said when she was in Iran, she went to the square to protest, and she got hit by rocks and stuff like that. So go listen to it. This clip then mention it. All right. Let's read some of the comments and then move on. Okay. Extremely powerful conversation and timely too. That's the clap. Yeah. Very, very powerful. Okay. OMG, Meghan is detailing exactly the trope from 99% from the right-wing UK media. They want her to shut up and stay silent so that the mediocre can shine. But said mediocre have nothing of worth to say and no one wants to hear. Yep. Let's see here. This episode is lit. How the next will tap this, I have no idea. Alright, yeah, this one was, I think, the most powerful of them all. Alright, many high-profile activists pick safe topic also. This situation and Iran needs everyone's attention. Malcolm's word will never die. They come for me in the morning. They'll be back for you by sundown. Wow. Yeah. And I think it was one of the 3 videos I did yesterday. And I showed some screenshot of how many people have died and how many people they have over. Oh, it's on my other channel. The screenshot on community board. People they arresting and then they sentencing them to death for protesting against the government. And this many people pretty much around the world, okay, especially in the US, who's failing to understand the freedom that they have, and then they're voting against their own best interests. Okay? So when one is going through some ordeal, it's good to pay attention, so that way when you see a hint of what the others have gone through happening in your homeland, so you could put a stop to it before it starts. Okay, the same way that I've said with I think I spoke about Jews. All right, when people start bad mouthing them, you know, do anti-Semitism. Okay, the first thing that they do, all right, before it starts spreading, they put a stop to it. I think who was doing that? Oh, Kanye. That's when I spoke about it. With the Jews, because they went through it, what words can lead to. Many Jews lost a lot of their ancestors through misinformation, of stupidity. Whether which side you are on with Jews or whatever, I'm just saying the fact, things that had happened. So we could learn from it, and the way the Jews have tackled the, those things when they start attacking them, the way they deal with it, many people should learn from it. Many other groups should learn from the Jews. When they start, you put a stop to it before it spread. All right. And as I'm editing this video, and there's a video I came across, President Obama, who was talking to Trevor Noah, I believe the Daily Show. And one of the things that crossed my mind as I was listening to that conversation is that when Trump was bad-mouthing President Obama in terms of the birther movement, okay, too many people sat back and just let him run his stupidity. So if people had put a stop to it, we would not be in the situation we are in right now, and to have him as the president. So this is the thing we need to learn from the Jews. When misinformation is being talked about, we need to put a stop to it, because many people did not stand up to protect President Obama and to put a stop to Trump's nonsense. Okay, so that's another thing. I have goosebumps. I don't think I realized before today how impactful this podcast was. This is not the first tweet that I've read, and some other videos that some people said they had to sit down and think and all of that. You know why? Because many of you, not all, okay, just know that many of you, some of you, don't have the time to actually pay attention to what's going on around the world. All right, you worry about your kids, your family, and your neighborhood, and beyond that, sometimes it's just too much for you. And the little time that you have is to catch up with your sleep or whatever it may be. Okay, so there is a lot of things going on around the world. The media itself, that should have highlighted some of this stuff that's going around the world, to put it on your 5 o'clock news or 10 o'clock news or midnight news, whatever time they show the news. They're not even showing these. All right, when you're finally sitting down, catching your breath or relaxing before you could go to bed to start all over again, they're not even bringing this information to you. That's the problem we are having right now. Instead, you have a whole bunch of people who caught on power. All right, each one of them, depend on what country they are, they're doing their stupidness, and then, they're preventing other countries from knowing what they're doing in the other countries. Meanwhile, those who are in power are very well connected. They know what's going on with each other. All right, so this is the problem we are having right now in terms of information, and this is why they're trying to really destroy Twitter. Twitter is like a place where everyone around the world, even in their community, in their street, they're putting things, let people know we're not relying on journalists to switch things around. Right? And at the same time, you could see the flip side of things as well. I don't want to say it so as to not give anybody any ideas. All right. Everything have a good and bad in it, so depend on how you see it. Okay. I like how Jamala Jamil talk a little bit about what Meghan went through with the British media. I think most of us knew it was bad, but it was really bad. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've repeated this so many times. I never followed Meghan. I knew she existed. But when you start seeing things, it was just too much. Even that little time she went in the UK for the funeral. She was already there, but she had to stay because of the funeral. The nonsense that went on. And I don't know, did I come across anyone else besides Dr. Schuller? Dr. Schuller is in a league of her own. When she has the time, whenever they put her in the spot to speak, she let people know what's going on. She speaks her mind. Besides her, I don't know who else come to her defense. Everyone else that I read, I come across is like adding more to her problem. All right, yeah, it was really bad. And that's what bring the squad together, because every one of us saw the injustice that was happening. All right, show a message, and Fossey was so moving and powerful. Yeah, I think she did translate it a little afterward, because Meghan asked. Okay, another great episode, Women, Life, Freedom. All right, love this episode. What an amazing young woman. While others are basking in the sun on yachts, the Duchess is using her platform every day to help and support others. And behind the scene, encouraging women to continue their activism in spite of the pressure, quietly out of the spotlight. Very inspiring, very powerful indeed. Did Jamali bully Caroline Flack to the edge of reason until she finally broke? Nope, that was then Wooten. Okay. With the Caroline Flack, okay, I do not know in full detail. Okay, it's when I start looking into things, her name popped up. Okay, and I read about her. Okay, she was going through some issues with her. Is it boyfriend or husband? I think it was boyfriend. And then, the tabloid harassed her where it was just too much, and the boyfriend or husband didn't even want to go that far. I don't know, but people knows this more about it. But one of the things I usually put after reading about her, Caroline Flack, I usually use her as an example of what the tabloid could lead to. Alright? But they still haven't learned. I don't know. The tabloid and the people who's buying the nonsense. Okay, I love all of the podcasts, but this one really hit home. Well done, Meghan, and her lovely guest. Thank you. Most powerful episode. Great powerful conversation. Prayers for the 1,000 brave detained Iranian protesters and activists. Yeah, we need to pray for them because a lot of them are being sentenced to death. And I don't share this because it's just too moving. There's young women. They held them for like a couple days. One of them in particular for like 10 days. And after they released her, she died. I don't know. What did they do to her while she was in custody? Alright. This was very interesting with all the ladies talking part. Alright, let's do this, and after that I move on. It was indeed another powerful conversation. Now I know why taking digs is so enjoyable. Archetypes with Meghan. Alright, I love these badass women guests. Great job, Princess Meghan. Take note, white royals. This is how you engage and include various prominent women of color, not performative speeches or shaking folks' hands to chain links, fences. Listen and learn. Alright, this episode was on fire. I listened. It's been years of struggle for Iranian women. Their strength and tenacity is unbelievable. No nation is free until all of the inhabitants are free. That's a very good one. Prayers for Iranian women and all those advancing their causes. There's the praying and heart. Alright, so there's more. Let's move on. I'm already 42 minutes, so yeah, I think I'm gonna have at least 3 videos. This is gonna split into 2. I have a lot left. Next tweet. I think that a lot of women watched how Meghan Markle was treated by one of the oldest establishments in the world and took notes, especially when you compare her treatment to the treatment of her silent, skinny white sister-in-law. I'm laughing because the way she put it. Okay, we watch way before Meghan. We watch how they destroyed Diana. Then we watch as history tried to repeat itself. Okay, that's a very good comment. But what have you done since then? What have you done? You watched. You see how they destroy. So how come people, besides, which I read in some of the other comments, those MPs who spoke up, okay, besides that, what other people besides Dr. Shola, okay, who took it upon themselves to say enough is enough? And that young lady that Meghan had in her podcast, and then they come after her. Everyone sit back and watch, okay? Most people sit back and watch, and then it's repeating again. Not too many speaking up. The minute they start, I think many of you should speak up and say, you don't want what happened to Diana happen again. Alright, you're unable to view because account owner limit. Okay, true. Even without the comparison to the sister-in-law and this age of social media and citizen journalism, the royal family, British media, dishonest campaign against Meghan has been visible in real time, contrasted with the grace, diligence, and compassion on full display in all of her work and appearances. They wronged her. Alright, very true. And then I guess this is why sometimes I say some people have to be used as an example. I guess what Meghan had gone through should open people's eyes to say, okay, the nonsense they say about Princess Diana, you should know it's not true. There's Meghan who did absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely zero. In fact, she elevated the royal family to a point where they should at least thank her. Right? She did incredible work over there. That few moments, I keep on saying few moments, it seems like it was, she was over there, and then how much she helped some of the charities. So she did absolutely nothing wrong, and the way they treated her, no one of prominent position besides those MPs and Dr. Sholas that I'm aware of, and that other newscaster who put Piers Morgan in his place. Okay, let's give him credit as well. Because, you know, he needs to keep his job. But when he had enough, he had enough. Where he said, every single morning you come and bashing her, enough is enough, until he had to leave the stage. Alright, so let's give, I don't know his name, but some of you know who I'm talking about. I don't have a clip of that. Okay, maybe an image. Alright, so these people, we need to give them credit for. But what about the rest? Who witnessed, who saw what Diana went through? What did you guys do? Alright, I guess Kate is comfortable in that role, which is fine, but Meghan's always been someone who wants to move things forward, and they're just not going to accommodate that. They don't want change. You could understand why they don't want change. We need to understand that, because they are the position of privilege and the system is benefit them. But just because they are okay with that, okay, we need to do something about it, to say no, it's not okay. They're not gonna give you a piece of the pie. You have to try to force yourself to get the piece of the pie. Or if they do, it's got to be slow change. By 2050, they might allow that dark nail polish. That's the one guy. Or they may allow dark people by that time. Alright, especially there's some image here. Alright, Kate Middleton, that's a different language. True. That pushed me from neutral to Sussex squad. As a person of color and working woman in all-white traditional academia, I knew my instincts about her were right, as this was also my lived reality and mine. Okay, watching The Crown, and as 55-year-old Londoner, I remember Camilla Gate. Oh, how do people forget? Alright, true. Her weight loss is symptom. It feels sorry for her. Okay. It feels sorry for her. I guess she's talking about the sister-in-law. Alright, next tweet. Alright, so now we're moving to the royal family is trying to coattail Meghan's work with the podcast. Now all of a sudden they are activists for some reason. Alright.
For me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps having a distorted view.